Welcome to Horticulture and Homes. Today I'm in the process of finishing up my blackberry vinegar. So what I have here is a sterilized gallon jar, and half of it is cider vinegar and the other half is berries. So I went up a 1-to-1 ratio. Now I just need to decant that and strain that. I'm going to strain that into a pot. Then I'm going to pour it into sieve it into another container using a coffee filter, so that it's heavily filtered and it won't be have any cloudiness to it. So I did this several weeks ago. Okay, so I did this several weeks ago, and after about a week I tasted it, and it didn't have enough blackberry flavor to me. And I did go ahead and put my berries in a pot, and I brought the berries up to a simmer, just barely to a simmer, and then I took a potato masher and I mashed the berries some so I could get the juice to come out. Then I added the berries to my jar with my vinegar, and then I let that set. And about once a week I would go and I'd taste it. And one of the things I've done here to keep my my strainer from falling into my pot, I've got a little hole here on the end, and I've just taken a chopstick and dropped that through, so that helps keep that from falling into the pot. Since this is full, I'm going to start with a ladle and ladle this in till I can get to the point where I can pick it up and pour it. So I'll continue this process and put my berries into the sieve and let that drain for a little while, and then I'll get rid of those and put another bunch in there, let that drain, and till I get all of this strained out, and then I'll go to the coffee filter. Okay, this is the last of straining the vinegar. You can see I have a lot of thick sediment here, so I'm not going to use that. But in my bowl here, from my expended berries, a little bit of liquid would come out of that, and I would drain that liquid off and use it, and go ahead and strain it. And I had 2 strainers going at once. You can see the sediment that builds up. And for this amount of vinegar, this is something that takes me most of the day to do, because as I'm doing things in the kitchen, I'll add a couple ladlefuls of vinegar through the sieve, and it will slowly drip through. So this is something you can start in the morning or start in the evening, and then strain it in the evening, and then the next day you can go ahead and can it up. I'd like to put my vinegar in decorative heat resistant jars and then use a cork, and I sterilize all of that and heat my vinegar, and then once I have it bottled, I'll dip that in hot wax. But I can't find my corks right now, so today I'm just going to go ahead and put this into a regular canning jar. I'm going to use a canning lid that has a coating on it. You can see here I'm using the coated lids instead of the all metal lid, because the vinegar can eat into that metal. And I'm just going to jar it up that way. That's perfectly fine. So now I'm going to take this and put it on the heat and get it good and hot so that I can can it. And here you can see I had a lot of vinegar that would actually leak out of the berries, and then I would pour that off into my strainer and use that liquid too. So there's my spent berries. That's how much I had. And then here is my vinegar. Like I said, I used I measured out my whole berries. They were fresh, and I used half vinegar, half berries. Okay, I've had my vinegar on the stove, getting nice and hot. This is my blackberry vinegar that I made with using apple cider vinegar. And all I need to do is put that into my hot jar, hot sterilized jar, leave a 1/4 inch of headspace. And then I just need to process that for 10 minutes in a water bath canner, or longer if you're in high altitude. Check your canning instructions for your area. You can use just a little bit more vinegar in there. I'm going to, that is hot. And this, after I let the berries sit in my vinegar for a week, it was still too vinegary. It didn't have as much fruitiness as I wanted. So what I did is I left it in there longer. Every day when I would walk past my jar, I'd keep it in an area where it's out of the light, because I don't want to lose my color. And I would would give my jar a shake. And I let this sit on my counter for about 3 weeks before processing it. It's fruit vinegar. I'm going to use 12-ounce jars and the 16-ounce jars, mostly 12-ounce. This makes a really nice gift. I like to make a vinaigrette salad dressing out of this. It's really good. And it makes a nice gift at holiday time. I can give it along with the recipe. I don't buy that many salad dressings. I make most of them. They're just so simple, and when you make your own and you use fresh ingredients, it just tastes so much better. Still just a little bit shy there. So I'll continue until I get my canner filled. This is really hot, so you've got to be careful. And we'll come back when I get to processing. Here we are with the blackberry vinegar. I canned this yesterday, and it cooled overnight. And so what I'm doing now is removing the rings so that I can store it. And I can wipe down my jars if need be. These seem pretty clean. And then I'm just writing on the top what's in the jar and with the date. And then I can store this. And I've got enough here that it'll probably last me over a year, maybe even up to 2 years. I like to, when I'm canning and processing, if I have enough product, I like to can enough for 2 seasons. And that way, it reduces the amount of canning and batches I have to do, especially when I'm water bath canning. If I use my big Amish canner, I just as soon do a whole lot at one time than just a few jars. But you can see here, I have over a half gallon. I started with just over a half gallon of apple cider vinegar to my blackberries. Then all I had to do was process this. I heated my vinegar, had my jars hot, and processed it for 10 minutes. It's a nice way when you have a certain type of fruit that you have a lot of. It's a good way to use some of that up. We had a lot of blackberries this year, so I was able to make a little bit of vinegar, and makes a really good salad dressing. Oh, one other thing, this would also be good with like if you're making a gravy or sauce for something like a pork chop. A little bit of this blackberry vinegar would be a nice addition to something like that too.